Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to this one-of-a-kind event, the Pass in One Attempt event. Tonight, we literally have a lot of people joining us from around the world. And we've got Peter Olinto, the best in class, best in the world, world-famous CPA faculty joining us. Along with that, we've got our alumni who are joining us. Some of our brightest alumni are joining us, and they'll be giving answers today. In addition to that, you also have me. I am Rohan. I am a CPA, CMA, and a TEDx speaker. But more importantly, I'm the chief faculty, the chief mentor for CPA here at EduMont. In addition to that, we also have you, the viewers. We also have a ton of our, aspirants, ton of our, action takers, life changers joining us right here in this session. And that's what this is for. This session is for you guys. That's the idea. So here, we're going to actually answer a question, a very important question that you may have come across. Have you ever seen an EduMont ad recently? It all talks about, all of these ads talk about pass the CPA exam in one attempt. But is that even possible? Well, that is what we will be discovering today. And Peter Olinto will be investigating that today. And to do so, he will need to ask hard questions. He will need to get into the details. And to get the answers for somebody unbiased, but somebody who knows, somebody who's gone through the journey, we have our alumni answering those questions. Now, with that being said, Peter, I'd love to call you on stage and get you to start your investigation.
Rohan, thank you so much. It's wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much for attending today. Our goal is to use this day to get you on your way, as Rohan mentioned, to be a CPA, but not on 2 attempts or 3 attempts, the first attempt. And it all starts with a good plan. So we, unlike a lot of others in the industry, recognize you all have a very different background. You all have different grades in school. You've taken different classes in school. So we love to meet our students one-on-one to see what it is that you're going to need to focus more on given your background. Even if you were not an A student throughout the university, that is okay. You bring us at least the C, we'll get you the P and the A. But we just need you to make that commitment. We also need you to make an honest accounting of the average amount of time you're going to have available to study each and every week. So a study plan for some might involve a month, 2 months. Others, it might involve 3 or 4 months. It's not an IQ test. It's really a test of time and endurance. So we want to make sure, step one, you have a realistic study plan given the amount of time you have available to study each week. We also want to make sure you build in cumulative reviews along the way. Cumulative reviews are imperative. You can't study something in week 1, not look at it for 3 or 4 weeks and think you're going to easily recall it, right? So occasionally in your study plan, we'll take a step back before we take a step forward. And lastly, before I investigate, the last 2 weeks before you take that exam, folks, you really should not be learning anything new. You should be completely in review mode. A properly prepared candidate recognizes they're going to need at least 2 weeks to do that final review. Summarize, highlight, prioritize. Hey, here are the key concepts. Do your mock exams and exam conditions, and then you're ready to take the exam. So Rohan and his team have an amazing structure that if you follow, you will be successful. But you don't want to hear it from me. We don't want to hear it even from Rohan as much as we love to hear him talk. We want to hear it from you all out there. We're going to ask some questions today, do our investigation, and find out how is it that you go about passing this exam on the first attempt. So Rohan, should I start asking those questions, or do you have more to add, my friend?
No, you're absolutely on track. You're very welcome to ask those questions. Let me just quickly introduce our co-panelists as well who are joining us. Some of our alumni who've been able to complete the exam in their first attempt. That's conquering the exam, making sure you pass it in one go. Firstly, let me introduce you to my namesake, Mr. Rohan Narula. His name is Rohan as well. and he's here joining us. What do you want to say quickly? You want to say hi? Go ahead.
Hey, hello.
Next up, I have Mansi Patel here, who's joining us as well. Mansi, go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Next up, I have Shweta Goyal, ma'am. She's a CA and also a CPA now. She's done it in one go. Go ahead, Shweta, ma'am.
Hi.
Next up, I have Miss Ruhi Chatterjee. She is a CPA. She did it in one go. Go ahead, Ruhi, ma'am. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Next up, I have Megha. She's from Mumbai. She's also done her CPA in the first attempt, and she's a rising star. So why don't you go ahead and say hi?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Next up, I have Abhishek with us. Abhishek, you've done your CPA in one attempt, and you had a hard journey doing it, but you did it in one go. Go ahead, say hi to everybody.
Hi everyone. Hi Peter. Looking forward to it. And Peter, what energy, what high energy, and what charm! It's really a pleasure to be in front of a legend.
Yes.
You are too kind, my friend. Thank you. You just made my day. I was hoping you were going to say I look much younger on this video today, but I didn't get anyone who said
that
You
was my
liar,
question.
you.
I kept it for later. What's the secret of your, this liveliness?
Your
How do you
young looks, huh? Next up, sorry. Next up, I have Shubham Mittal with us. Shubham, go ahead and say hi.
Hi everyone, it's nice pleasure to have with you.
Wonderful. Next up, I have Pavni right here. Pavni, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Wonderful. So I think I've covered the students who are attending for now. More may be joining us in a little bit. These are the alumni you can start asking your questions through. So go ahead, shoot through, Peter.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Was there a specific point during your preparation where your mentors identified for you, maybe there was a weakness or a pattern that you personally hadn't noticed yet? And then what changed after that intervention?
Okay, the question is out to the panel. Anybody who's interested can literally just unmute and start.
Hi, I'm Papni. So during my journey, since I come from a chartered accountancy background, I have a very different aspect of training and giving my examinations. But when I started the CPA journey, I realized that the way of answering questions is quite different. So that is where Rohan sir came in and Team EduMont came in, and they helped me guide through the process, the studying pattern that is completely different from what we study here in the Indian examination pattern. So they really came through. Then at the same time, UWorld was a major help that helped me channelize how to track my progress throughout my journey of all the examinations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pablo, for your response. Anybody else wants to butt in? Feel free to do that.
I would like to say something. I think the study material was really good. The concepts which we were not able to get in the first attempt, but we got to know the visual framework and the answers which Peter gave in his in the answers. I think that really helped me. Obviously, the game plan call was with Rohan was awesome to understand where we were rocking, where I was lacking. But Peter Olinto, I don't know how to sincerely thank you for the great material you have shared with us. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Is it my birthday today? Everybody being so kind to me. I got my son sleeping in the other room. Dominic, you hear how nice everybody's being to me in India? If you're not nice to me, I'm moving to India.
We'd love to have you though.
I would love it. I would love it.
The heat's too much. You may not love it, Pete. Okay, anybody else? Any other voices? Essentially, Peter's asking you, was there any time in the journey where you felt like this is getting hard, and then something that in your preparation you felt like is lacking, but we were in a position to actually identify it. Your mentor was in a position to identify it. That's the question he's asking. Anybody else?
Hi, Rohan. Maybe I'll add to it. So I guess my biggest issue was commitment, like having a discipline and regularly following the calls, the steps you suggested, etc. And I guess the regular follow-ups. Exactly. So I'll just share an experience. Maybe initial couple of calls, I just delayed a bit. That okay, I'll maybe manage it later. Melvin used to call that, Mansi, where are you on the progress? And I used to just say, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. I'm busy with work, etc. But eventually, he was so consistent with the follow-ups. Every day at a fixed time, he used to call, Mansi, you committed 7 days. Where are you? So finally I gave it up, and I thought it's better to study rather than giving reasons to Melvin. So yeah, I think that was very helpful.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes answering somebody's question about where are you and why you're not doing it is what actually sometimes motivates you to, say, okay, fine, I don't want to do this anymore, so I might as well do the work. Yes, follow-ups do help. Okay. Anybody else? Any other points you want to add in? In fact, guys, if you could raise hand, that would make things a little bit more ordered. I'm talking to the panelists right here, so feel free to do that. If you want to butt in, want to talk about something, raise hand, and then we can see that on the screen, and then we can say your name. Okay, so I assume that this is done. This question is done. Okay, no, Shubham has something to say. Go ahead, Shubham. Go ahead.
So hi Rohan, hi. So first, so I will like Marcy, I will add to this as well. So like when we work in corporate or big four, we have a lot of busy season, and with corporate pressure busy season. So we don't get time. But yeah, suddenly I was busy for 3 to 4 months. Suddenly I got a call from Melvin and got a call from your side as well. Yeah, where are you? Where is the progress track? Yeah, then click my mind. Yes, I need to study as well. I deferred Melville go like 2 3 times, but then like no, it can't be done like that. I need to study, so I just consistent with my plan and got back to my track. So I will say your consistent follow-ups definitely helped me to clear my CPA.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you. Okay, Peter, we can go on to the next question then.
So obviously clearing in one attempt, hard work is part of it, but it definitely requires more than just hard work. So what we want to know is, what did you do differently from students who might be studying seriously, might be studying very hard, but they still end up retaking sections, whereas you passed on the first attempt? So what would you say is that differentiating factor that had you pass on the first attempt, although the other student was working hard just like yourself, but you were able to do it, and for some reason they were not?
That's a very good question. Wonderful question. And I already see some hands have already been raised. Okay, we'll start off with Mansi. Go ahead. We'll start off with you.
Yeah. So I think, of course, hard work is important, but it's very important to have a strategy in place. So, for example, what I used to do is I used to devote like 1 hour on regular basis before the madness starts, maybe early in the morning before we rush to the office, etc. Which was with a specific focus on theory and understanding the concepts. And later during the days, whenever I used to get some break, let's say a coffee break or my commute time, I used to start solving MCQs. Let it be 10, 15, whatever. But yeah, that did wonders for me.
Wonderful. Okay, so I get your message. I get your point that you start off with the theory, do the revision first, and then before the madness starts, like you said, and then you go on to doing your MCQs during the day. This way, you're able to spend time throughout the day, and you're still thinking about the content, so you're more in touch with it. It's like that. I appreciate that. Okay, next up, Pavni, go ahead. We've got you. Go ahead.
So I always say that it's not just hard work that gets you through, it's smart work. You need to analyze what are your strengths, your weaknesses, as all of us have different fortes. So it's very important that you go through the syllabus first and analyze what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how much time to devote to every topic, since we all have limited time with us. So it's important to analyze that. And second is consistency. Even if you're studying for just 15 minutes a day, do not lose touch with the syllabus. And it is important to stay consistent throughout your preparation so that you don't require to come back to the same topic again and again. And third is you have to analyze what the questions are asking. When we go through the theory, we tend to delve into it so much, but the CPA examination pattern is so different. Your analysis has to be really strong. So it is very important to understand what the question is asking, what is the pattern of the questions, and then go through the syllabus together so that your brain starts working in that direction, that this is the way that I have to answer the questions. These are the points that I need to focus on, and this is what I can leave out.
Yes, absolutely. That's why, step one is do all MCQs first. So you have some kind of an understanding of what is going to be tested. Then you go back to the book again, you start reading in detail this time. You start to realize, okay, this is what I need to know. This is going to be tested, and I need to understand this well. Right, absolutely. Okay, Shweta ma'am, I see you're next. Go ahead, Shweta ma'am.
Yeah, hard work is not enough for the clearing the CPA exam. There is a consistency you need to manage, and the first we need to understand the question. What is question asked, and what is the requirement of the questions. Then we have to go with the concepts. In that related questions, what we learned already about that particular topic, particular terms, then you can go with the options checking. It is actually fit to that or not. That is my strategy to do that. That's
Absolutely makes sense. Go through the question first. I mean,
yes.
even Peter
Make a
Peter calls
point.
this legalized cheating, right? Says this is legal cheating. You can literally just go through the question first, understand what it's going to ask you, then go through the case facts, and then look at the options. Then figure out if the options make any sense, if something fits or
But
not.
sometimes many students has did like first they go with the options. What is the option then? And then go to the questions. What option is answer is fitted to that question. That is wrong approach
Approach,
to do.
absolutely.
Yeah, wrong approach to do that questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay, next up I have Abhishek. And then Ruhi ma'am, you can obviously button as well. And then we'll have Megha. Go ahead, Abhishek.
Right. So I'll add on to it, and definitely consistency and discipline is, but then the most I felt is UWorld. What a product, and what solutions what they've given. Smart Path allows me to, in a way, go to that section of the topic. If I'm doing a question, it allows me to directly go to that video where I can learn right away what was wrong. And if I've done something second time, I was like, this is here, the topic is here, and it shows that I've completed it. If I'm doing that thing, I'm questioning why was I not attentive, or why was I not present at that moment. And that's why I love the product, and that in a way I think helped me a lot to let track my progress, what I've done, what I've not done, what is yet to be done, how do I plan my timetable, how do I plan my timeline, how do I do everything. I think definitely very interactive and very helpful product, which makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The smart path does actually help you quite a bit in identifying, exactly where you're going wrong, which topics against those who were able to pass the exam, are you weaker or stronger comparatively? Wonderful.
Right.
I also see Ruhi ma'am, you've raised the hand. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So I think most of the other people have covered my points, but I would still add. So, like, consistent practice is the key, because there are so many concepts, you will have to keep revising those. And then most important is analyzing the questions, because understanding concepts is different thing, but once you start practicing, it's a different thing. So whenever you get any questions incorrect, you can check the smart path tab, and from there you can work on the one in your specific weak points. So it has helped me a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And even in our game plan calls, that becomes sort of a basis
Yes. Yes. Yes.
on which we discuss, right? Carrier topic
Yes.
dikh raha is not working well.
Yes.
What is going wrong?
Yes.
That
So
kind of stuff.
I remember there has been time I was stuck in audit in few of the concepts. So you have helped me in, understanding those and then working on those concepts specifically. So yeah, it has really helped me that way.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, next up I see Megha, you raised a hand. Go ahead.
Yes, so to add further to all the things that my colleagues have already said, the main thing I would suggest is to practice a lot. Like you have UWorld, you have unlimited number of questions in it. Keep on practicing. Our Indian system is like we first prefer to go via concepts, and then we are like we are not prepared properly for it. We'll not try questions only. But in these kind of exams, English is a much bigger barrier that I feel we feel in the exam because of the vocabulary used, how they are asking the questions, how they are framed. Because we are Indian, we have a different accent English, how we talk, how we prepare stuff, and like it's very different. So my comment would be like to practice UWorld question bank a lot. Like every day, make it a habit to at least do 10 to 20 questions so that you can get familiar with the words that are used in the exams as well, how it is done. And secondly, I would tell whenever you practice a question, UWorld has an option to there are information or context about every question that you get. like for all the answers, why this particular MCQ option answer question was wrong, why this was right, and additional details are also there. And there's one thing, like in the below, there is things to remember about that topic. Please do read that. Do read that, guys. It has some of the small, tiny items that are useful in exams when you get those points. And by reading such a heavy amount of content, you forget those things in stress and all. So please do make a habit of reading it. I know it's a lot, but try to do it as much as possible.
Absolutely agree with you. So gotta read the UWorld books, gotta practice a lot. And a very valid point that you raised, I think the main thing that you raised here is the fact that the CPA exam has its own language.
Yes.
Right? It's not even the kind of English we speak or say. It's not the kind of English you would have in the normal context. It's its own version. We like to call it AI CPA speak.
Exactly. I faced this question. I faced this issue in my paper. Like I got a word that was altogether new to me. I'm like, no, we need to practice a lot.
Yes, you need to practice, and that allows you to get conversant with the language of the question paper. Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, Mr. Rohan Narula, go ahead.
I would like to say two things. I think everybody covered all the points. The one point, specific point, was the mobile app. I think that accessibility to questions and doing it any time of the day, it used to happen that sometimes I was not able to sleep. I used to do an hour of questions lying on the bed also. So it has happened, and as I revised my... And what Peter said in the introduction, that re-revising is, I think, the most important thing. Well, in the sense that I used to, in the weekdays, I used to learn the concepts, and Saturday, Sundays are totally only for revising, nothing else. I think that was the main strategy for me to get this clear.
Absolutely. When you've got so much content, you do need to take out a day in the week where you're just going to have to revise everything and, redo some of the key concepts, remember them again. Absolutely. Okay, I think this question is answered. All of the hands have been lowered now. So, Peter, we can move ahead to the next one.
So when you were using UWorld, like what specific data points do you remember seeing or using that really helped you improve your preparation?
Okay, valid question. Go ahead. Any hands that go up will be the first ones to talk. So I see Mansi, you've raised hand. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think Abhishek already mentioned earlier, but yeah, I'd like to add more. Smart path is something which helps a lot. It also to some extent motivates you to reach that mark where it says that, okay, most of the students after this mark pass the exam. So somehow you are motivated, okay, by hook or crook, I will revise n number of times, but I want to reach that mark. So yeah, it was a good summary and a structure that helps to go back and revise things where you lack the conceptual knowledge, etc.
Absolutely, valid point. Okay, I see Abhishek, you also raised a hand. Go ahead.
Right. So I'll tell you one of the approaches. Let's just say if you have covered one unit and you want to, get more confident on that unit and then want to move ahead, UWorld allows you to mark multiple topics or club it into a unit, and then you take questions, and then that data point, if that one unit covers the whole picture of one topic or one scenario, let's just say financial statements, then you're very sure that you know the topic start to end and you are done with it, and then you want to build on it by going to the next unit. So if I'm taking up a test and if I'm not scoring good, I definitely know I have to go beneath it and find out which section of the topic I want to improve on, and then only go to the next unit and then take up the next unit as a complete fresh with concepts, and then learn those concepts and keep that one unit intact when I've scored good on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That does make sense. You can just keep drilling on one and you could flag the questions there. That's the idea. Absolutely. Shweta, go ahead. I see you next.
Yes, I used smart path tracking, and the flashcard is there. So flashcard is totally helped me, and the mock test is unlimited mock test, which I used to give. Yes, so that has totally helped me. And for the flashcard, I want to mention here, like these are some small terms which I got and remembered through that flashcard. I just downloaded and keep it in my WhatsApp some time of gallery and look at that one day if I forgot that terms like evidence, what is the evidence, and in audit terms, I used many of the that flashcards in there. So that is a seriously, that is good for me for the tracking for audit paper. Help me for the clearing the audit exam.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Pavni, go ahead. You're next.
So, in the UWorld interface, what we see is that we have questions not only from the major topics, but we have bifurcation into subtopics and even the teeniest of the topics that are mentioned in the chapters. So, I know exactly what I'm targeting in the question, and I can club any topic throughout the whole syllabus and practice the questions together. There is no
Yes.
particular order that I have to go through. So,
Yes.
depending upon my weaknesses and strength, I can target the questions. And
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
add on to that is the fact that I know how many number of questions are there in each topic, whether it's MCQ or TBS, there are proper bifurcations. So it helps me plan how much time to devote to each chapter and then how much time I would require during revisions. Third comes the smart path, where I can track my progress throughout each subtopic as well, not just the major chapter. So I know which exactly is the topic that I need to revise again and again to be able to reach the point where the smart path says that this is the point where people usually pass. So I have a clear picture in front of me where I can analyze that this is how much I need to work, this needs to be my accuracy rate, and I can plan accordingly. The next is the text that is provided in UWorld. So as one of the fellow panelists shared earlier, that after every question I have the option to see what the answer is and where have I gone wrong, and at the same time I can save it and make notes. So those notes come in really handy at the last moment when I'm revising, because it's in a very concise form. I do not have to go through the whole book again to see and revise the topic. So I can just take out those flow charts and those images that are mentioned
Yep.
in
Yeah.
the MCQ answer. And
Yeah.
I made revision notes of those, and that is what I went through at the last point just before when I was revising for the exam. So
So that was your last
it
minute
really
revision
saved a
then.
lot of time. Yes, it saved a lot of time for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful point that you raised there. Okay, go ahead. Mithushi, you're the last person there. Go ahead.
Shweta covered my point. I wanted to highlight about the flashcards. So a lot of times there are a lot of minor topics which we feel are not very important. But as you are going through the question banks, questions related to those topics pop up, and then you realize that, oh, this is something that we should also keep in mind. And a lot of times, very minor details come up in the answers of the question bank. So you often can highlight those and create flashcards from those. And at the end, you can just go through the flashcards to cover those minor points as well. So that was one thing that really helped me cover those minor details as well, which otherwise I would have easily forgotten.
Right.
So
So you
that
can make
was
your own custom flashcards is absolutely
right,
the main point. Absolutely. You can make your own,
right. So that was
select your
very
own things, make
helpful
your
for
own
me.
notes. Right. Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much for your responses. All right, Peter, if you have any cross questions, feel free to do that as well. I mean, feel free to engage with the audience here, with the panelists here.
Well, question number 4 is near and dear to my heart. My poor parents. When I was studying for the CPA, Rohan, so many times I questioned my ability, whether or not I could pass the exam. And that frustration sometimes led to somehow my fist through the wall. And my poor parents had a carpenter. They had him on speed dial that would come and patch the holes. Yeah, so
You're
really,
a master,
honestly,
huh?
through every part of the CPA, every level of the CFA, the bar, despite prior history of success, I always question whether or not, I had the ability, what it took, was I smart enough? So for the panel, I'm so interested to hear your responses. Was there ever a moment when you genuinely questioned whether or not you could complete the CPA successfully? And then what was it that helped you recover from that phase? And I got to remember at the end, I got to tell you what did it for me. But I'm interested to hear from the panel again. Did you question your ability to pass? And then what was it that helped you recover from that doubt, from that phase?
Wow, that's a heavy question. And yes, sure. I've got Shobham Mittal, first person to raise their hand. So go ahead, Shobham. We'll have you answer it.
So yeah, Peter, this question is really genuine. See, CPA is a long journey. It took me around 2.5 years, and I give my first exam after enrollment about 1.5 years after enrollment. And during CPA, actually, I met with accident as well. And I was on bed like for 2 months. That really questions me, like, should I continue or should I focus on my job? But ultimately, then I got, again, I mentioned that I got a follow call from EduMont team. And again, I go started my studies. And obviously, it needs meditation, it needs consistency, discipline, all the strategy, all the work. But when it comes down, like, you don't have your mind to do that, do now what you do next. Ultimately you have to what my mindset is, what if you have to do, like, करना है तो करना है. In Hindi with simple say, अगर
Yeah.
अपना मन है करना है तो
You
करना
want
है.
to do it if you want to do it.
Yeah,
That's what
you have to do
it
it.
translates into English. That's what he said.
I have to do it. Like,
Yes, but that's a
I'm
wonderful,
saying in
wonderful
Hindi
saying.
so that it goes to long audience. So, like, if you want to do it, you will do it. Then ultimately that's a mindset you can carry. And after then, all your strategy, all your discipline, or your consistent approach, that comes later. First, to become your mindset. That matters to me.
Absolutely. So when you were in those dark days, Shubham, how did you come out? What did you do? That's the question. Hard days to
So
आते
yeah,
ही हैं यार,
actually,
सबकी life में.
I took a break of 4 months. Definitely, I took a break of 4 months. Like, I cleared my BEC exam in December month, but I give my FAR exam in September month again.
Yeah.
So it's like a
You weren't able to
month
do
gap.
that BEC exam, right?
BEC to FAR exam, it's like a gap of 9 months, to be frank. But yeah, again, that's attitude matters. And after then, your discipline, consistency, like whole of course, EduMont team and UWorld, all your, and then pick the. I dropped the book even for, like, I dropped the book, my book study material, like for 4 months. I didn't even touch that. My office pressure was also there, but yes, again, when I got some relax from my office, then again my book, then I again picking my book slowly by slowly, like 15 minutes a
So
day.
एक internal motivation लगती है शुभम. एक internal motivation लगती है यार कि चलो यार, we'll do it. That's the
सर
idea.
माइंडसेट तो बन गया, माइंडसेट तो बन गया, लेकिन करना तो पड़ेगा ना. लाइक फर्स्ट डे, लाइक, ओ यार क्या है. अगेन दैट यू हैव टू, लाइक, आई स्टार्टेड विद 50 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, then I go again to 4 hours a day as well.
Gradually we'll go to 4 hours a day. Absolutely. Next up, I see Pavni also raised hand. Go ahead, Pavni.
So there were two major junctures during my CPA journey where, I actually questioned whether I'll be able to do this or not. And that was the start and the end of my CPA journey. So as soon as I enrolled in EduMont for my CPA, we got to know that BEC was being ended in December, and I had just 2 months for preparation. And I was in so much distress that whether I'll be able to do this or not. And I just picked up the phone and called Rohan so that should I do it? I was constantly questioning myself because generally, if we see that 1 or 2 months is quite a less amount of time for preparation for a vast subject like BEC. So that is why team EduMont and Rohan sir came and they used to motivate me every day. कि नहीं हो जाएगा, just give it a shot. And it is because of their motivation and their effort that I actually pumped myself up. That no, if they have the belief in me, then I can put in the amount of time and give the exam, and I cleared that exam. And the next
Thank you so much, Pavni. You're too kind. Thank you.
The next juncture was actually during my last exam. I was supposed to give my regulation exam in June. And just before 5 days of the exam, I got hospitalized because of an illness. And then I had no other way. My credit points were expiring and my UWorld subscription was about to expire. I had no idea how I'm going to do this. And I thought maybe I'll have to go through the examinations again. And because my credits were expiring, and that is where the team EduMont again came in. Melvin sir really helped me out contacting UWorld and NASBA to get my credit extension. And I'm so thankful to UWorld that they extended my study period. And at the same time, I'm so thankful to Rohan sir that, he kept me pumped up that tough times keep coming during your journey because it's a long journey and it's a professional examination where a lot of effort is required. So he constantly motivated me that, even if there's a downfall here, it's okay to bounce back. You'll be able to do this because ultimately I had to have trust in my preparation that I had done so far. So fortunately, my credits also got extended by a month. And then within 1 month, I had to go through the whole syllabus again. And, just with drips on my hand, I went to give the examination. But fortunately, I cleared that as well.
Yes, you did. Like I said, you would. See, if you do it, it happens. That's the idea. Great. Rohan sir, I see you also raised hand. You've been fairly silent throughout the few questions we've got, but go ahead. I'll give you the short
So,
end.
I think I am also the one with the BEC route. So, a very interesting story is that I gave my attempt on the second last day of that cycle.
Yeah.
I still remember the date was 14 December. I didn't get a 15 December date, and my papers got. It was my first exam, so my papers got delayed. So, and worst was that I didn't get a center in Delhi. I had to fly to Bombay. A day before I was flying to a day before I was flying to Bombay. I never knew that whether I will be able to pass. There was serious doubts. I didn't sleep the whole night. So God Almighty, I passed. So there was doubt number one on that day. And like Pavni said that on the last exam, I think reg was the last exam. On 30th June, my credits were expiring, and I gave the exam. I think on my last week only. Never knew that it might happen that my credit will get expired, but thank God it passed. So kudos to
As
the
a
whole
good one. Luckily, you were able to clear it.
on the dot both the times.
So I'll tell you another thing that you need to know here, Rohan sir, and I guess Pavni also, right? Because you guys were giving your BC exam, right? You were in the old system where your credits, your first credit, your BC credit would expire in 18 months or something like that. So you had lesser time. The newer students who are joining in also have, yeah, have a lot more time because they get 30 months and then they can also get an extension on that. So they get fairly a lot of time. So I just wanted to say this from the point of view of the viewers who are watching. These guys are saying the credits were expiring, so you may think कि पता नहीं कितने time लगाया उन्होंने 30 महीने लगाया क्या did they take 30 months to do it? No, they had a 18-month window and they all did it within that window so that the credits did not expire. You guys are lucky you have the 30 months, but that does not mean you abuse that timeline. You're supposed to still try and do it in a short period of time as soon as possible. That's the point. I just want to quickly just bring everybody back to the center right there. But next up, I see Megha, you've raised hand. Go ahead.
Yes, so I come from CA background, and I have myself faced failures a lot, like during my CA inter, CA final. So like 4 to 5 attempts I have faced failure in that, and after that my self confidence was so low. I was so scared to register for CPA to prepare for my first exam, and I was sweating buckets like, will I be able to clear my first paper or not? How will it go? I am failing since last 2 years, and how will I do? The game plan calls with Rohan sir and talking, and a day before exam day as well, he was available to have a word to calm down, to for whatever you are like you are facing confusion about anything. He was there on call. He is always available for people who are giving papers in like 1 or 2 days. He's giving them priority on call. Like if you have any problem, just connect with me. Be calm. You will be able to do it. You have done mocks. You have done everything. Don't be scared. I know a lot of people drop out and switch and they are very scared, but you just have to be confident and have a word with your mentor. He will able to tell you where you are lacking or where you will be able to do it or not. So that was what my doubt was. Will I be able to finish even the first paper or not? But after that, as soon as you
Once you
talk to
did it, there
sir,
were no doubts then, right? Then you
yes,
decided,
no,
oh,
after
yeah,
that
yeah.
first paper, I got such a like good kick. Like I was able to do it. You are
And
also
you
there.
scored
Your
well
team is
too. You
there.
scored really well, right?
Yes, it was first paper like that, and after a long time of 3 attempts of CA final failure, I was able to clear it. I was crying on my first result day that I was finally able to see a success in after such a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there are times when you will face failure, but keep in touch with your mentors. Do actively reach out to people and just take a step. You will be able to do it. Is what I feel from my experience.
Yeah. Now, you know why I do that? Why do I give priority to those who are taking exams on the calls? Is because I had the same experience myself when I was, I had to take the exams in Dubai because we didn't have exam centers in India back then. So I had to fly there, and I was sweating buckets too. I was nervous, and it was very expensive as an exam. As a concept, it was very expensive from the Indian point of view. And I was struggling. I was not feeling up to it, and I did the same thing. I called my mentor. And he
That is
calmed me
what
down on
helps
the
you in those
phone.
times.
Yes, he calmed me down on the phone. He said, "Ron, relax. You've done everything you had to do. You have done these things. You're in a position to pass. Now I just do the same for you guys."
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, next up I see Abhishek, you've raised hand. Go ahead.
Right. So I think the format of the CPA is as such that I knew about such demons and I wanted to push them and not let them, take over me. I selected my subject as per my strength or as per where I wanted to build my strength and gain confidence. So first of all, the format is very beautiful. It allows you to give the paper as and when you want to, in whatever order you want to.
Yes.
If you want to build your confidence with the numbers, if you are good at, you should take far. You can plan your things around that. So that's why I took this course as well. I think one of the reasons, and then the UWorld panel is as such that it does not matter whether you open the test format once or multiple times. So for the starting few times, I used to not question my percentage, or I used to not question my success ratio. I was just that, okay, I might have skipped a concept or I might not be attentive at it, but then let's reattempt, let's do it again. It would come to a certain ratio where it will give me confidence. And yes, definitely then connecting with the EduMont's team to know how am I performing. When we used to come on game call, you used to take a screen share and check what our performance metrics are. And that's when you push yourself more, right? Because you're connected to your mentor and then he'll see, oh, Abhishek, you're doing, or you're failing in such a concept like you shouldn't be, or you shouldn't have ever. So yes, that helps you come out of your demons and, keeps you motivated.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear from you, Abhishek. Next up, I have Shweta ma'am. Go ahead, Shweta ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to mention here, like I never questioned about my ability to do CPA after the enrolling. But before the enrollment, I took 3 to 4 months to decide whether should I do or not the CPA journey suited to me or not. But your one session seminar, you like going for the Saturday, Sunday 1 hour session to explain what is the CPA, how many subjects is there, how many time it will takes. That has really helped me a lot to give me clarity what is actually CPA, what the role, how we can proceed for the CPA, and what is the eligibility we can proceed for the CPA. Then I decided after like 3 to 4 months after that seminar in a one day.
Thank you. Thank
That
you
has
so
seriously
much.
helped me to decide
Thank
whether
you.
I can, able to do this CPA or not.
Right.
Because I'm
So for you,
qualified
it was the
chartered accounting.
orientation.
Yeah.
It was the Saturday orientation. But again, you're a CA,
Yeah.
so there was no doubt.
Yes.
You were always going to be in a position to do it.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful. Thank you
Yeah,
for,
but
for your
the ability to do in after marriage, after twins kids, I have. So that is a difficult time to manage. How many hours I need to devote apart from my family and everything. So yes,
yes,
that seminar really helped me a lot to decide whether I go for the CPA or not. Thank you for
yes,
this. Thank you.
our pleasure. Absolutely. It's like a mutual admiration society here, huh? Okay, Peter, where are the hard-hitting questions? Go ahead. Hit us hard.
So my thing was, thank goodness I got advice from somebody that once said, if you don't think you're smart enough to pass this exam, you've just got to find one person that you know for a fact you are as smart as that has already passed the exam. And you have to have the arrogant attitude that, boy, if that person passed the exam, I know I can do it too. And I could be your inspiration for that person, because I will tell you right now, I'm no smarter than anybody on that panel or anybody tuning in right now. Slow and steady wins the race. If you want to make it happen, you can absolutely make it happen. But you've got to believe in yourself. Slow and steady. Don't try to cram. That's where people oftentimes, and also they equate volume of questions worked with being prepared. No, if you keep working the same topic you're doing really well in, what's the point in working all those additional questions? You're already strong in that topic. That's like the panelists mentioned, pay attention to the smart path. When you've hit your targets, it's time to move on. You can confidently move on to your next topic. But listen, these panelists, I love everything that they're saying. They're really hitting on so many important points. So I want to thank the panelists. You guys are doing an amazing job.
Yes, absolutely they are. Absolutely. With
All
that
right,
being said,
so next
any other
question.
questions?
Paperwork. I hate paperwork. But for the CPA admission process, unfortunately, the paperwork could be very difficult. So how did you all manage the application process, all the paperwork that you have to file to not only sit for the exam, then ultimately get licensed.
Yeah, that is a pain for everybody. Go ahead. I see the first person raised hand was Mansi. Go ahead, Mansi.
I think all of us will agree to it that it's a major task. And I think after seeing the paperwork, I was not even sure that, okay, I'm going to do it. It is only because of Team EduMont. At every stage, wherever we had a query, we will just call Melvin or someone that, okay, what do I do next? And that's how I think most of us have passed that cross path. Yes.
Thank you so much. So kind of you. Go ahead, Pavni. You're next.
The paperwork and all the procedure is so extensive and so different from what we are used to here. So the team EduMont actually comes in here and gets on a video call with you and guides you through each and every step of the process and the paperwork, from answering every question to how to mail your paperwork. And for the licensure also, you have every detail, like how you're supposed to fill in the paperwork and get through everything, whether it's for an exam or for anything for that matter. The team is so hands-on over here that you won't have to question anything. You just need to get on a call or drop a message to them, and they'll be there for you.
That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. But fine, I will give it to the team, and I'll give it to Team EduMont that they're in a place where they help you out and all. Sure, but the paperwork is complex still, right? There are complications in this whole process. How many of you actually feel, and again, I'm sort of rephrasing the question here that Peter asked, how many of you actually felt like this is too complex and this is sort of a mood spoiler? How many of you felt that way? Because I know at least some of you here have had a bad experience in their evaluation. Some of you here had a bad experience in getting the paperwork done in time. Sometimes this sort of thing happens when you're sort of ready for the exam. You want to take it as soon as possible, but you don't have your NTS ready, or you don't have some part of the paperwork left that isn't done yet, and that can sort of spoil the mood, break the mood. But then how do you come out of that challenge, right? So that's the point. That's the main thing. So hard-hitting questions, right, guys? Go ahead. Shweta, I see you raised hand. Go ahead.
Yes, I have an experience regarding the evaluation report and with my name. Everywhere my name is only Shweta. But when we are going to fill that form, we have to mention last name as well. So by mistakenly, I filled Shweta Goyal. So that is create really a lot of problem for me. But
So
with the
mismatch
help
between
of
your government documents and the document that you put in, or the name that you put in your
just I
application
mentioned,
form.
yeah, I just mentioned in application form with the name of Shweta Goyal, but I have only named every official documents with the Shweta. So I don't know about that concept. We have to mention Shweta, Shweta, ya Shweta dot like that. So this is like after filling that form and after getting, the things when I go for the exam and I can't sit for the exam because of that name. If you remember,
I do. I remember. I remember
yes,
you calling me from the
I
exam center.
cried a lot.
Yes.
That day, but
Yeah, that's
such
the
a
point.
help me regarding the emailing them and saving that amount and reattempting. I like re what I say re
Wasn't
again I
actually
can that
reattempt, it's just they didn't allow
yes,
you to sit for the exam that day, but they
yes,
rescheduled it for you and you were able to do it.
reschedule that, yeah,
Yes.
they are
And despite that
rescheduling.
hiccup, you still became a CP in one attempt.
Yes,
Huh?
yes. Thank you. Due to you only and your team, the paper is going like fine and well after everything's in collapse. And when I approach ICI for the sending transcript, they are not like willing to do that. Like online, they are have not such a format to give the e-transcript. They have to give the transcript by mail.
Mm.
That is a post they have to do only. So
Yeah.
yes, there is a many challenges I faced during that paperwork due to EduMont team and due to you only. I completed that all the things in very smoothly manner. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. But with that being said, I would give the credit naturally to the team, and I would also give credit to your patience. Then that's another thing. See, it's not that easy for people who are watching. It's not that easy to actually go to the exam center and then realize that you're not going to be able to take the exam today. Imagine how heartbreaking that is. And then finally, whatever, things work out in the end. You get another chance, you are able to do it, but for that minute you feel like hell. So yes, it is a journey, it is an arduous journey, and I would say that it requires patience. And that is very clearly evident in the case of Shweta ma'am and her journey there. Next up, I also see Abhishek. Go ahead, Abhishek, you've raised the hand. Go ahead.
Right. So just want to add on to it. Definitely, EduMont's team has been a support, and we see cases like Shweta's from cases like Shweta's to a very standard norma case, or like the ones who used to have 18 months timeline to new format where you have 30 months timeline. EduMont team has been there. So I just want to tell the same things to visitors or students or listeners as what same as Rohan sir said, that just go through it and just start with the process, because I still get to hear from a lot of many peers or juniors of mine that they're still thinking, and always I tell them that put your foot and then think, or then it will be solved in some way or the other. But just start with it. If you keep on thinking this transcript process is hard or it's complex, no, it will not solve your problem. But eventually you will be on the other side. So just go about it,
Yes.
because EduMont team is here.
Yes.
They'll help you guide through it.
Thank you so much. Absolutely, that's the right message. That it'll take time probably, but you're going to go through it. You're going to get through it, and of course, the EduMont team is going to help you. Of course, they are. But more importantly, this is to be done parallelly along with your preparation. So don't just stop your preparation or stall your preparation because transcript nahi hai abhi, ya fir because of whatever reason, that I don't have the following paperwork done. Whatever, that will happen parallelly. Do not stop your preparation and wait for it. Instead, do your preparation parallelly. That's the idea. Okay. With that being said, let's actually move ahead, Peter, to the next question.
So obviously everybody knows or has heard different sections of the exam are very different. Audit and information systems, very theory-based, not a lot of math, whereas FAR and BAR are very math-intensive. And I would say Reg and TCP are kind of in between, half math, half theory. So we want to know, did you use the exact same preparation strategy for each part of the exam, or did you change your strategy for the theory parts, audit, ISC, versus the more math-intensive parts like FAR or BAR or Reg? And what proved most effective? So love to hear the panelists' thoughts on that.
So, Rohan sir, you've got your hand raised. We'll go with you first. Go ahead.
So I would say for me, like Peter said, audit was the most difficult thing. So, though I am a CA by qualification, still being tested of all those concepts after 10 years of CA, that was a pain. So what I did different was once I finished, I'm telling for FAR, Reg, and the other paper. So what I did was that my studies were regular. For what I did for audit was that with MCQs, I also started side by side using the sums also, TBS also, for a better understanding, because maybe the question was not driving it through. Because what all TBS do in audit was that they give a lot of concept clarity, because they were not sums as such. They were clearing your concepts also. So this was the only change I think I did for audit. I think the other things remain the same for all the three other sections.
Right. So you essentially did your MCQs and your TBSs simultaneously for audit, specifically for audit, because you felt that TBSs are helping you tie in the concept a lot better.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Shweta ma'am, go ahead. You're next.
Yes. My strategy is different for the audit and other subjects as well. Like if I'm go for the audit is the theory subject, and theory, when I said, like, boring subject for everyone and difficult to understand how it is processed. My strategy for that subject is going for the flow chart, making a small flow chart with the understanding how it is go, and making the flashcards. I used many flashcards in terms of audit subjects, but other subjects, REC and the TCP, I took the TCP, and I cleared the both exam in very less time, because the taxation part is, that is something which I really relate, and I can catch very, very fast toward the taxation. So yes, for the audit, I took the more time and I used many different strategy for the audit subject as well. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much. Next up, I see Abhishek has raised hand. Go ahead, Abhishek.
Right. So your approach is definitely different with papers. FAR is definitely content-wise heavy, and if you start building your concepts, you like it, and then you want to challenge yourself. You go deeper into their representations or their treatment. That's when you push, and you cannot keep on drawing it and getting it under. You have to solve it. You have to understand the nature of it. Why is it placed on one part of the financial statement, or where you have to understand with that. But then, as soon as you come to the theory part, as Shweta ma'am said, as soon as you come to the theory part, probably you tend to get lost, or probably you tend to take more time. So this is what happened with me in reg. As soon as I landed up with the theory topics, I was like, why am I taking so much time and still not confident and still not there, or still does not feel that I have done this topic thoroughly. So I started then taking notes, started in a way forming a picture of the whole topic. What is it trying to say, from which concept it is connecting which concept, because you have to in a way break it down and get to the crux of it, get to understand what it is trying to say. That's how I dealt with this, because I thought I'll also be very swift with the reg. I thought I'll just do it because reg was my third paper, and I was confident after my two papers. I was like that this text will be very easily, because this is mainly conceptual thing. If you know the concept, if you know the treatment, you will be done. And as and when I landed with theory topics, I was lost. So this is the approach I took. I started making, preparing in a form of presentation, or noting down the images which UWorld used to put up while lectures were going on. And then I used to imagine with that, what is this concept trying to say, or is this concept trying to speak to me?
So you used to visualize. That's actually very interesting. That's a very interesting approach. To try and diagrammatically visualize what the concept is. Absolutely. And we'll allow Mansi. Go ahead, Mansi.
Yeah, so I guess mostly everyone spoke about subject specific things at a micro level. But when you see things at a macro level, I think the overall strategy in which you approach your exam somewhat remains same. So just to give my example, I was in the same boat as others with respect to BEC. I had to give BEC in 2 months. And since I didn't have much time to figure out what strategy, how to, the way I should approach, etc., I thought let's just go by what Rohan sir swears by, which is his 5 steps and the UWorld material. And I just went with that, the 5 steps, followed it to the T, and yes, it cleared. And for the rest of the exams, I was very clear that okay, I'm continuing with the same process. I don't want to spend time figuring out a different strategy, or what is working, it's what's not working, etc.
Right. Okay. So you followed the 5 steps and they sort of worked for you. That's the idea.
Definitely, yes.
Right. Thank you so much. Pavni, go ahead.
So as I was discussing about the 3 subjects, for FAR, it is more important that you have the conceptual clarity, because the questions will play around the formulas and pick up something from somewhere. So you need to know the origination of every formula and the different ways of applying it throughout the questions. So you really need to focus and pay attention towards the formulas and the concepts. For audit, it is completely different. You don't have to delve too much into the theory, as after one point it all starts appearing to be the same. So you need to understand the crux of the subject and then move on for the practice of the questions, because always 2 options in the 4 that are given to you will appear the same. So it is more important how you to analyze, to strike off the wrong
eliminating the wrong ones.
Eliminating the ones and choose the correct option. So only through practice you'll be able to gauge that. For regulation, it is again drastically different from the other 2. Here there's a lot of data that you need to memorize, because ultimately there are rules that have to be crammed up. But at the same time, they will appear in a similar manner in a lot of sections. So you need to make charts like, and there will be just one word or one limit that has been changed, where the whole answer of the question will completely change if you do not read it properly. So you need to make proper charts of what that similar point when it's coming across different topics.
So when you say
You need
charts,
to jot
you mean notes, right? You mean notes, like
notes,
keep
and you
notes.
just jot down the points, what is the point of difference and the point of
Right.
similarity, so that when you are answering the questions, you know what particular point the question is talking about, and then you can answer accordingly.
Yes. Okay, that's valid too. Thank you so much for your response there. All right, Peter, any other questions? Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add to that, folks. When you put together your order in which you sit for the exam, I advise students that with the evolution of the exam, audit has become more practitioner friendly. So work experience, in my opinion, will help you better understand and apply the information to task-based simulations. So if you're on the audit side of the fence, you want to seriously consider leaving audit for last, because unlike FAR and the reg, the tax, that's going to be very academic for you. So the longer you're out of school, those topics will only get progressively more challenging because you'll begin to forget information. And obviously, if you're on the tax side, leave reg and TCP for last, because again, all your new hire training and work experience will certainly help you in those sections. But for the candidates out there, I know we've been talking about multiple choice and task-based simulations. Just so the candidates know, the first two testlets, 50% of your exam are multiple choice. The last three testlets are what we've been talking about, task-based simulations, more like what a first or second year associate is supposed to do on the job, right? So preparing for multiple choice, which in and of themselves can be somewhat challenging and complex, but we want to know from the panelists, when you were practicing multiple choice versus task-based simulation, did you use a different strategy when doing the multiple choice versus the task-based simulations?
That's a very valid question. I think some of the panelists have already spoken about it, in fact. But anybody raise hand, go ahead. We'll start with you now.
So definitely MCQs, you can do it when you want to test your knowledge of that concept and you want to check whether you are right or whether you understood the concept right or not. But then TBS, you have to be very focused and only do it when you understand the whole topic and you understanding the flow of where the concepts attach to, and then you come to a conclusion or then you complete the whole picture. So TBS approach is very much when you're sitting in a quiet environment or when you want to stay focused and then improve. And definitely it's no point doing it when you're not that serious or when your attention is required somewhere else also, because you just don't want to attend the question. You want to understand what is it trying to convey to you, what the whole practical experience of it wants to put in your mind and in your understanding. That's the major difference.
That's a very valid observation. Absolutely. If you're in an environment where you're gonna have 2 or 3 minutes of attention span at a time, and you're not in a position to give out 20 minutes to do a question, you should not be taking up a TBS right now. That's actually a very valid point. And I also appreciate the point that you raised in the beginning, where you said, you do this when you're good with the entire set of topics. You don't just do this on a topic by topic basis. You do TBS, you do SIMS when you're actually sorted with the entire syllabus once, and then you go ahead, because this will help you get in more depth in the syllabus instead of doing it on a topic by topic basis, where you may feel like it's getting a bit too heavy, or you may feel like you're not in a position to do it fully. Okay, with that being said, Midushi, go ahead. You were next.
So I just wanted to add on to this because, like you mentioned, TBS are to be touched once you have covered the entire syllabus and you have thorough understanding of each topic, because TBSs have very interrelated concepts from different chapters, especially in FAR. So you need to be very thorough with the entire syllabus before you start attempting the TBS, because if you start doing it before you have covered the entire syllabus, then it might happen that the answers might not go the way you want it to be. You might end up with a lot of incorrect answers, and that could be very demotivating when you start attempting the TBSs and आधा से ज़्यादा उसमें गलत आता है, like you are barely scoring 20% accuracy, so it becomes
Right.
very demotivating for you. So it's very important that you initially do the MCQs master the concepts, the entire syllabus, and then move to the TBS part, because that's when you will have good understanding of all the concepts and would be able to attempt the questions in the TBS much better. Also, the timing part is very important in TBS. You need to practice a lot in TBS to ensure that you are not spending more than 20 minutes on one set, because in exam setting, 20 minutes go in a flash. So if you are not practicing the attempting the TBSs in a timed manner, you will lose out on the exam. So
Yes.
timing is also very important when it comes to TBS.
Yes, very valid point. Absolutely. Timing really does matter when it comes to your TBSs. You have to make sure that you're able to do them within a specified amount of time. Very valid point. Rohan sir, I see you also raised hand. Go ahead.
So one particular thing I used to do is, supposedly I have a very weak concept and it's happening that once or twice my answers are not going correct. So I used to do those TBSs a lot. Frankly, what happens is that one TBS may be having a content which maybe relates to 20 MCQs or 30 MCQs, and they connect together. So I think that missing link you can find out, and you can find out in numbers perspective, because we finance guy mainly understand how the finances work, how numbers going to work, and how their content is correlated. So for me, as such, for working on my weak areas, I used to do TBSs for my weak areas a lot. So I just wanted to give that perspective.
Absolutely, yeah. That is actually very valid. If you're specifically weak in a section in your TBSs, you'd spend more time doing those set of TBSs and working hard on that particular problem. Absolutely. All right, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to mention too, when if you were going to study for 30 minutes, you could probably, Rohan, think maybe work 10, 15 multiple choice and then have time to review it. So you could cover a lot of ground in 30 minutes with multiple choice, whereas task-based simulation, just one task-based simulation could take you 15 to 20 minutes to answer and then to go through the detailed explanatory answers. So I think your panelists have hit the nail on the head. You've got to look at the time you have available. And also, even if it were an open book exam, the task-based simulations could be challenging because of the volume of information they throw at you, all these facts and exhibits. So if, like the panelist said, you don't have a good understanding of that content and you go to the task-based simulations prematurely, you're going to waste a lot of valuable study time. So I think it's better to wait to simulate, get those multiple choice done, then hit the simulations. But speaking of simulations, on the actual exam, I'm curious from the panelists, how did you manage your time in those 3 testlets where you had multiple simulations in each testlet? How did you manage your time to handle those difficult simulations, but without letting them affect your overall performance, especially in time, right? The temptation is to spend more and more time, which is only going to take away from other simulations at the end of the exam. So I'm really curious how they manage their time exam day.
Okay. So Peter asking a question, what was your strategy for managing your exam time on exam day? Go ahead, panelists, feel free. So I see Pavni's raised a hand. Go ahead, Pavni.
So this is where the mocks really come in handy, because we can all answer questions once we are done with the syllabus, but when it all comes together, that is when we start to go haywire. So it is extremely important that before you sit for the examination, you must practice as many mocks as possible, so that A, it will help you channelize to bring the whole syllabus together at one point, and B, it will help you to understand how much time is to be devoted at which testlet. So once you start going through it, initially you will face a lot of issues, but once you get the hang of it, then you'll start to bifurcate the timing according to the testlets. During the exam, what worked for me was, after MCQs, you get so drained that when it comes to the TBS, you start to feel not focus, and you start to lose your touch. So that is when you must take a pause, you must take the break that comes in between the testlets and have a sip of water, just calm yourself down, because when you're sitting in the examination setup, our nerves are so high that you need to really calm yourself down. And when you calm yourself down, you tend to make lesser mistakes, because when the TBS throws so much information at you, you tend to go berserk, like what is to be seen where, how do I correlate it to the question. So just take a pause, take a deep breath, and understand. First, go through the question, and only then open the data that is given to you and start eliminating what is not important, and just mark or highlight what seems to be important for you for the question, and then attempt the TBS.
Yes, absolutely. So in your exam, it's important that you do what you know first, right? You got to mark any questions that you have a doubt on, that you think are going to be too lengthy, going to take too much of your time. Do them later, before you submit the test lab. But you got to do the questions you know first, and you got to keep calm, most importantly. Absolutely. Ruhi ma'am, I see you raised hand. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I was about to say the same thing. So, like when I was practicing the mock, that time only I targeted a specific time for the MCQs and the TBS. So first time when I'm going through the questions, if I come up with any question that I'm finding difficulty, so I will just mark it and go to the next questions, and then maybe later on come back to that question. So that used to save my time. And secondly, for the TPS, like first I used to read the questions and then jot down the important figures that are related to that questions, and so that helps you saving your time, and you can strategize that way.
Even for
So that
questions
is
where
how.
TBSs where we've got exhibits, the same philosophy that you're talking
Yeah.
about works.
Yes.
Go through the TBS
Yes.
first, go through the TBS questions first, then figure out, okay, this question, which exhibit should I open? Where will I find this
Yes.
information? That's how that should
Yes.
go.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I also see Abhishek and Mitushi you raised hand, so I will go with Abhishek first, then Mitushi. Go ahead.
So in my FAR paper, I was very much in a hurry. FAR was my first paper, so I thought whatever be, I'll not be short on time. But I completed that paper so fast that I was like, probably how did I do it and how could I complete it so fast? Then I put a lot of effort, or probably double checked my options in audit. Then I became a bit late in that subject. So yes, you have to plan your sections and plan your time you give to those sections. So it can be, and I want to tell this to the people who are listening, that be prepared that you might be thrown with a lot of tough questions on TBS section, or it might be possible that if one exam has given you a lot of easy questions, it will not be same for the next subject. So you have to be prepared, and I was prepared that even if one question will pop up that will want to destroy my confidence, I will not let it, and
Yes.
would want to optimize my time allocation from now on. After FAR, I was in a lot of confidence that I'll complete it on time. But then when audit TBSs came, I was like, I have to gather myself. I have to know what I do good, or what I'm good at, and let even a few options not hit, and then focus on optimizing the time for the upcoming TBSs. That's how I cracked it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That just makes sense. Okay, Mitushi, you're next. Go ahead.
So, like everyone mentioned, my strategy was to go through questions, flag those which I was not confident about, or I was like, "ये मुझे आता नहीं है" या कुछ, and quickly move on to the next one. So that's how I saved on wasting time on those questions. And another thing was, my goal was to complete the MCQs as fast as possible because I wanted to mark as much time as possible for the TPSs. So that was one thing, and I had in mind कि इतना time is what I am supposed to allocate to the MCQs. So उतने time में अगर नहीं हुए तो नहीं हुए. That was something I was
Right.
very rigid about. कि इतने time में करने ही हैं. So I strictly followed that. And even in TPSs, what I did was, so you get to open 3 TPSs in one setting, right? So I quickly toggled between all the 3 and used to see कि किसमें सबसे कम exhibits है, and I used to start with that one first because जितनी जल्दी वो complete होगा, you will get confidence कि oh, I am able to
Yes,
complete
I've done at least one.
particular
Absolutely.
TBS in such a short amount of time. So I have quite good amount of time in hand for rest of the TBS, which has many exhibits. So that was one thing I used to do. So my main strategy was to complete MCQs as fast as possible because MCQs tend to be very easy to solve compared to the TBSs, and you can easily complete them in flow quite like in I think I used to allot around 100 minutes for the MCQs, both the testlets, and rest of the time for the TBSs, and that's how I used to go about it. Complete MCQs as fast as possible, and then start with the TBS with
TBSs.
least
Absolutely.
amount of exhibits, and then go from
Absolutely.
there.
So guys, can anybody here tell me the exact time? I mean, can you guys tell me how much time should I take in testlet 1? How much time should I allocate to testlet 2? How much to 3? How much to 4? How much to 5? Can anybody tell me that? If you can, raise your hand. Okay. So Mitushi, you've raised hand again. Rohan Narula, you've raised hand as well. Pavni, you've raised hand as well. Rohan sir, we'll allow you because you've been silent in this question. Go ahead. Why don't you tell us?
So clearly I didn't have any idea in the first my BEC paper, so it went to the limit. I finished my written at that time. It was written, so I entered my last and when the 4-hour mark got over. So after that experience, I imagine that for me to get adequate time, like Mitushi said, that you have to save 10 minutes in testlet 1, 10 minutes in testlet 2 to get over the line in TBSs, because sometimes you have to read the TBSs twice or thrice also, in the sense if you don't get the gist of the question. So it might be that out of the 4 or 5 TBSs in the whole paper, 1 might be or 2 might be so much tricky that you have to read the whole question again.
Yes.
So to avoid that stress that you don't have that enough time, you have to finish your MCQs. You have to get there. It simply means that you have to get the MCQ concept right, and you have to be very thorough when you sit for the exam. That's it.
Right. So how much time to testlet 1 and 2? How much time on average should a candidate give?
Again, like it should be if supposedly you have it's as simple. It's 4 hours, 50 marks. If you have given you said that you will give 2 hours to for MCQs, 2 hours for the TBS, then you have to cut it down at least from 120 minutes to 100 minutes. It's as simple as that. If you try for 100 minutes, it's going to cut down by only 10 minutes in the exam, frankly.
Right. So ideally what I tell people and what we should be talking about, I can see Mitushi from your expression, you might be talking about that as well in your answer in a bit. But usually what we do is we try and devote about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to your first testlet and another 40 minutes maximum, including a 10-minute revision, to your second testlet. That's a total of 1 hour 20 minutes, like you said. 1 hour 20 minutes is what you should hit or aim for, which is about 100 minutes roughly. 100 minutes or less, right? And then the remaining time you are actually able to devote to your TBSs. So testlet 3, 4, and 5, these are your testlets with TBSs. 4 and 5 you should give full 2 hours to. So if you've done your MCQs in 1 hour 20 minutes, you're left with 40 minutes in the first 2 hours of the exam. You take out those 40 minutes on testlet 3, that gives you 20 minutes per TBS, per sim, per TBS, whatever you want to call it. With that being said, this way, if you're done with your first 3 testlets in 2 hours, if you then choose to take even a break, you can do that. If you choose to do even a break, that's not a problem, because that break will be allowed, it will be permissible, and your time will not be deducted. You can take a small 5 to 10 minute break, and then when you come back, you have 2 hours left to do your 2 testlets, testlet 4 and 5. So that's essentially the split. For those who are watching right now, that's the split that you should actually be following. Right. Peter, do back me if I'm saying the right things there.
No, I love that strategy. I just want people to understand that while the point value is half 50% of your points are for the multiple choice, your first 2 testlets, but you really should not be spending, as you mentioned, 120 minutes, the full 2 hours. That's the max, but you need that extra time for the task-based simulations. And I just want to advise the candidates out there, when you open up testlets 3, 4, or 5, you're going to have multiple simulations within each of those testlets. Work them in the order that's best for you. So as the panelists have mentioned, I want to emphasize, look at the topics within that testlet. Work your strongest topic first. Leave your weakest topic for last, because if you're going to rush and run out of time on a testlet, rush and run out of time on your worst topic, not your best topic, okay? So you got a lot of good advice from the panelists today. But speaking of the discipline, I know we've been briefly touching on it. So in the new format of the exam, one part of the exam you get to choose. So that's what we call the discipline. So your three choices are, if you're a tax person, you'll take what's called TCP, no doubt about it. But really, there's a big question for the audit folks, because you really have a choice between bar and ISC. Bar has a lot of the same content as FAR, very math intensive. Some people like the math, some people don't. If you do really well in FAR, you're likely to do well in bar. Audit and information systems have a lot of overlap. So if you fancy yourself an IT person, you might want to consider the ISC section. But what's interesting, because of the pass rates, right? TCP has almost double the pass rate of the bar. So there's a lot of factors to consider. So we want to know from the panelists, how did you choose your discipline? Was it based upon your interests, career goals, strengths, how you did on the corresponding core section? So we'll throw it to the panelists. How did you choose your discipline?
Yeah, valid question. All those who took a discipline, on what basis? Is it interest or is it pass rates? Anybody who's raising hand can answer this question. Go ahead. Okay, Abhishek, we've got you. Go ahead.
So I choose based on my career goals. I wanted to build my career around tax and had a bit of experience also in that. But I was good with numbers. So my inclination was towards bar, but then I was thinking, if I want to excel in tax field or related to that, I want a complete picture of it. And then I saw an interview with you and Peter Olinto as well. He was there in that interview. He said that companies actually do not question that, or it doesn't matter to them which specialization you've chosen. And to me, it was, if it is very neutral to them, I should be complete with the tax information. I should know the complete picture, which TCP allowed me to do. So that's why I chose TCP.
Absolutely, absolutely. So essentially, if you're somebody who's interested in tax, you're going to take up TCP. If you're somebody who's interested in, accounting, planning and analysis, bar is your obvious choice. And if you're somebody who's interested in tech side of things and you want to be an auditor ultimately, in that case, ISC does make a lot of sense. Peter, we can move ahead with the next question.
All right. So, yes, sir. Compared to the core sections, what specific preparation adjustments did you make, if any, for your specialization section, your discipline? So studying for the core is one thing. Studying for a discipline, the AICPA says the discipline's supposed to be at an advanced level. The core is more of an intermediate level. So did you make any significant adjustments when studying for the discipline versus the core sections?
Okay, I think Abhishek, you're in a position to answer that question because you took a specialization there, right?
Right. So I was very well aware till my fourth exam, which was my specialization exam, that I have to be prepared for the exam to throw me up any question which is never covered in the topic. So I need to be very thorough with my concepts and very clear with the picture, very clear with the understanding, very clear with every kind of treatment possible, every kind of scenario which could be there, which is not there on textbooks. But then as a CPA, I should be knowing that. So I considered it as a benchmark or as a last checkpoint, where after this test, I will be a CPA, and a CPA should know these things, or probably these things with a topic, and I should be prepared with it. If my textbook has it or not, I should be prepared to face such a question. This helped me.
Wow. Yeah. So how do you go about doing that? Did you generate questions using AI, or what did you do?
So obviously TBSs you have to do more so that it validates your understanding of the topic and understanding of it. The UWorld panel obviously helps you to reattempt those questions or make a mix of such questions and reattempt a mock exam. I think I used to do standalone TBSs in my core subjects, but then the whole complete set of mock tests more in my specialization.
Right, that makes sense. All right, we can move ahead, Peter, with the next question then. Oh, Peter, you're on mute.
I didn't do that, Rohan. So somehow my ex-wife, she hacks into my computer and mutes me.
Quite the hacker, quite talented.
So FAR and reg, we've and this is my last question for the panelists, so thank you so much. But really, we've been talking about FAR and reg and how it's different in terms of it's very math intensive, content heavy. Reg's got business law as well as obviously a lot of tax. FAR is kind of a final exam for intermediate 1, intermediate 2, got some advanced accounting. So how did you approach FAR and reg specifically? And how do you think what advice would you give to the folks out there on how to better prepare for FAR and reg because they are so math intensive?
Valid point. Valid question. What do you do for those math intensive topics? How do you go about those? Okay, I see Rohan Narula, you've raised a hand, and so has Pavni. We'll go with Rohan first, and then we'll go with Pavni. Go ahead.
What I used to do is started relating with my everyday life. For example, tax, how tax we are doing in India, how is correlated to some aspects of the US tax. So life was becoming a little easy because you have some basic knowledge of tax, which you can correlate. For FAR, I think I was more able to correlate because, like again, we have done advanced accounting in our study days. So it was just brushing it off, in a sense, brushing the dust, which we were not doing or were not reading. So if the basics are right, math should not trouble you. You know the current accounting rules. You know what is a depreciation. Why is it done? If you know the why or the logics, I think math should not trouble you.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's at the end of the day, it's basic math. It's not something you don't need to use algebra, or you don't need to know anything specific like integration or those advanced concepts of mathematics. It's just basic multiplication, addition, division. That's the kind of math that we have. Business math essentially.
Just
Basic level
putting the
business
numbers
math.
in the right area.
Exactly. It's not at all that difficult. Right. Plus, you can also use your calculator. You can also use your Excel in the exam. So there is that. Go ahead, Pavni. Go ahead.
I'd just like to add on to what Rohan said before me. So, since I also come from a chartered accountancy background, I have previous knowledge of these subjects. So, FAR was fairly easy for me because the formulas ultimately remain the same in both the formats in India as well and the US. So, it was important to understand the concept and the origination of the formulas. I correlated that with what I've read earlier and studied earlier during my chartered accountancy. And I focused on the words that were being used differently over here. So after that, I started practicing the questions, and it is fairly easy once you understand the formula and how it has come into picture. Then you're able to answer the question, and it's just basic mathematics, as we all shared earlier. If somebody who's not from a background like us, please focus on the concepts that are being given to you and focus on the examples that are being provided and practice the questions. For regulation, it was very different for me because I had to unlearn all the Indian tax that I had studied earlier, because that was creating a bit of a hindrance for me while studying the US taxation, because the memory is such that the Indian law comes first to my mind. So I had to unlearn that, and there was a lot of memory that was put into picture here in regulation, because there are so many rules for like single, married, filing jointly, and there were so many
There are
bifurcations.
exceptions to exceptions.
Exactly. And this was the most technical subject that was there during the journey. So, as I shared earlier as well, I had to make down charts and flow charts and what are the similarities and differences here, and had to memorize them because there is no other way that these will come into picture. There's not much concept behind it. Once you understand the basic flow, it's more about the memory and the rules that you remember during the exam.
Right. So we could say that theory subjects are more memory focused, whereas the mathematical subjects are more concept focused. And the math is not troublesome, essentially. It's easy to do the math. The problem is with making sure that you're good with the concepts. That's the real challenge right there. Okay. All right. With that being said, Peter, I'd leave it back to you because I see the panelists have responded to that question. So now we bring it back to you. You've asked the questions. Have you concluded your investigation?
I have concluded my investigation, and I want to thank these panelists. Boy, what incredible insight. And first and foremost, I haven't said congratulations, not only on passing the exam, but passing on the first attempt. So you all should be extremely proud of yourselves. And I love that you're willing to share your experience and give your insights, because somebody like yourselves, I mean, it's obviously very valuable to all the folks tuning in today, because you've recently accomplished this goal. And yeah, you have so much to be proud of. I'm hoping I get to visit India sometime soon so I can buy you that hard-earned cup of coffee you deserve for all that hard work and time and effort you put in. But I'm sure it's going to pay you back over. You're all so young. So you probably have 40, 50 years left in your career to reap the benefits of all the time and effort you put into studying for the exam. So once again, congratulations. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Rohan, thank you so much for having me. I'll let you have the final word. It's very difficult for me to not have the final word, but I will let you have the final word.
Thank you so much. You're too kind. Thank you for letting me have the final word. But before we actually conclude the event for today, I'd like to just quickly announce a few titles or awards that we've internally decided to give out to our attendees and our panelists and the students at large who've in our alumni base passed in one go. First thing we have right here is a small token of our appreciation for Shubham Mittal. That's the trophy that he's getting. Now, he's getting this for being an inspiring CPA because his journey is very difficult. As you could have noticed while he was talking to us, he's had a hard time adapting to the English testing format. But despite that, he's come out with flying colors. In fact, his scores speak loudly. The very good scores that he's able to get and that he was able to get, and he was able to clear his exam in the first attempt. So this one's for being an inspiring journey, having an inspiring journey and inspiring everybody else around them and making them realize that it's not just about the English, it's not just about how you speak or sound, it's about actually putting in the hard work and the smart work necessary to go through the journey and do it in one go. So a round of applause for Shubham, and this will be sent to his home, right? Okay. So a round of applause, guys, for Shubham, absolutely, for doing a good job. And then next up after that, we have the unstoppable CPA. So this is somebody who's already qualified. They didn't really have the need to do anything as such, but they're just not stoppable. Like I said, they're unstoppable. They do not want to stop. They just want to keep growing and they keep moving forward. And this one goes to Rohan Narula for being that unstoppable CPA, because he was already a CA and he's still already a senior manager, already working with a Fortune 500 company. But he said, you know what, that's not enough. I need more. And this is for him, for Rohan Narula right there. And a round of applause for Rohan as well.
Thank you.
So again, not everybody who's attending the session here would be getting the award. The idea is it's not necessary that you be attending the session to receive your award. We'll be sending it to your homes. That's the idea. So physical presence is not necessary. Anyway, with that being said, the next person I have is a rising star and is somebody who is young, had her ups and downs, but mostly ups. And I met her a long while ago in Mumbai, and when I met her, I realized that she's a firecracker, okay? She's always spontaneous, and she's always got something witty to say. This one is for the rising star, Megha Golecha. Right there. This is for you, Megha.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Next up after that, I've got a future leader CPA right here amongst us. Somebody who was taking a break from the corporate career for a while, but she then chose to do her CPA and get back to it. And I have no doubt in my mind that she will be a future leader very shortly. This award goes to Ruhi Chatterjee, Future Leader Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so this one will be yours, ma'am. Ruhi, ma'am. We'll be sending it to you. Next up after that, we have one trailblazer CPA here. Comes from a relatively, not a big city, but a B-tier town, as we would call it here in India. He is a trailblazer because he's probably the first in his city to do this. And not only that, he did in his first attempt, he cleared his CPA exams in one go. And this award goes to, the Trailblazer Award goes to Abhishek Artwani. This one's for you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely, our pleasure to have you here. Next up after that, we have most consistent CPA, and that one goes to Nirav Shah. And I'll tell you why. Just like Rohan sir, he's a senior person. He's had his qualifications done. He's already a CA. He's now done his CPA, and he just won't quit. He's also appearing for his CFA. He's also doing his CMA. Yep, you heard me right. He's doing his CMA right now as we speak. So this is a man who just will not quit. This is a man who believes in consistent growth. Consistently. He just does not want to stop. And this award goes to Nirav Shah. Right there. This right here goes to Nirav Shah. Okay. With that being said, the next award we have is a breakthrough CPA. So this award actually goes to Pavni, and I'll tell you why it goes to her. She is a breakthrough CPA. You know why? She comes from a family of very qualified individuals, most of them chartered accountants, many of them highly qualified in India's bureaucracy. They're IASs. That's the kind of background she comes from. She's the only one still, despite all of this, she's the only one in a family who is a CPA. So she did a breakthrough right there. And not only that, she's also got a sister to enroll with us for a CPA, and now she's helping her sister become a CPA. So this one is yours, Pavni, right here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Next up after that, we've got Mansi, who's actually a game changer CPA because she is changing the game. She has changed her game with her CPA right there. And show me the word. There it is. Mansi, this one's for you because you earned it. You did in one go. You did your CPA in one attempt, just like we would imagine you should have. And you did it. And this one is for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I also have a driven CPA award here, which is for somebody who's actually had to put in a little bit extra effort as opposed to everybody else, who had to put in extra hours as opposed to everybody else, but she was driven. She said, fine, I'll do the hard work, I'll do the extra hours, I don't care, I want to be a CPA and I want to do it now. And this award goes to Mitushi Jain, the driven CPA award. Can we have it? There it is. This one will be for Mitushi Jain.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next up after that, we've got the fighter CPA. Now, this is somebody who's had a bad experience, okay, but didn't stop fighting. This is somebody who's had a bad experience with their CPA journey. Most people would be heartbroken, would not do anything in addition after that, would not take a step forward. But she actually did. She did not stop fighting. She fought till the end. Every time she had to take an exam, she had to send in an extra email to tell the NASBA coordinator and the Prometric coordinator that her name is Shweta. It's not Shweta Goyal on the papers, it's just Shweta. And this is why she deserves this award, because she fought through all of that and she became a CPA in one attempt. She's also a CA. She's also become a CPA. Shweta, this one goes to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next up after this, I have the growth mindset CPA. And this one goes to Shashank Saxena because, well, for me at least, he was my first student out there in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat. And he came in with a growth mindset. He didn't take the standard set of advice. He didn't stick to the beaten path. He actually chose to do his exam without consulting with me, by the way, and I fought with him for it. I said, mere approval ke, without my approval, why do you schedule your exam? That's not the right thing to do. And he was confident. He said, you know what? I know that I have done the right amount of preparation to pass the exam. I will do it on my own. Don't worry. And he did. Not only that, he went ahead and he got 91 straight up in his first exam. And that shows that he's got a growth mindset. He's got a fast-paced mindset. And that's why this award goes to Shashank Saxena for being somebody who's got a growth mindset and somebody who's actually come along, changed the rules a little bit, but at the same time cleared their CPA in their first attempt. And lastly, I've got another award here for a visionary CPA. So somebody who's actually shown that he's a visionary, that he's ahead of the curve, ahead of the game. And this one actually goes to Banke Gupta. Why? I'll tell you exactly why this award goes to Banke Gupta. Because he's a CA, but he's not from a big city. And you would imagine he's set up his own practice by the way. And you would imagine somebody's got a practice in a relatively smaller city, in a B town, would be happy with it, right? And they'd be making a reasonable sum of money. They don't need to do anything else. And frankly, his family did not want him to do anything else. His family was after him to get married. And enough with the study. You're done with your CA, that's enough. That's the Indian mindset, right? Ho gayi, bahut ho gayi. But you know what? He said no. He said, I want to take my practice international. And this is a person who did it. Not only did he do his practice, he set up his own business, but more importantly, he's got international clients now right here in India. And he's operating out of Banaras. Banki, do correct me if I'm wrong. He's operating out of Banaras, which if you are an Indian person, you would understand in the Indian context, that shows you the kind of penetration that, Banki is aiming to achieve. So this one goes out there to Banki. All right, thank you so much. This was our last award right there. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for giving us the time. I hope you learned something valuable in today's session. And you spoke to our alumni. They told you exactly what they did a few days before the exam, a few months before the exam, during their journey, through and through. They told you their stories. They told you their learnings. I hope you get inspired. And I hope you're in a position to actually now start your own preparation and take it to the point of completion. It's all well and good to start your preparation, but you also got to end it. You got to get to the end goal of becoming a CPA. And if you stick to the system like they did, you will do it in one attempt. With that being said, Peter, do you want to give a closing note? Go ahead. Now I'll let you have the final
just
word.
Once again, thank you, Rohan, for yourself, your generosity, your team planning this event, all the panelists making the time to join us. It's been an absolutely amazing event. So thank you for setting it up, and thank you to your team.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and for taking out the time to address our audience and to address our students and our alumni. Thank you so much. Thank you to the alumni for joining us. Thank you, panelists, for giving us all your answers and for giving us your honest advices. Thank you all, those watching. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.